Carlos Alcaraz finally gets his moment on the big stage in Melbourne, though it seems it took some murmurs of favoritism and a bit of drama to make it happen. The 19-year-old Mercian phenom is set to step onto the grand Rod Laver Arena for his round of 16 match at the Australian Open, putting an end to the chatter that had been swirling through the tournament like a persistent fly at a barbecue. Fans and pundits alike couldn't help but notice that Alcaraz, despite being the world's number 3, had yet to grace the iconic central court in his first 2 matches. When grilled by reporters about this supposed snub, Alcaraz cheekily brushed it off. "I prefer playing in the mornings more than worrying about which court I'm on." Well, message received. The tournament organizers clearly didn't want to risk further whispers of controversy. They've ensured the young Spaniard will now play his next match under the bright lights of Rod Laver Arena. Alcaraz's journey so far? Smooth as butter. He first crushed Alexander Shevchenko in straight sets, 6-1, 7-5, 6-1, in the Margaret Court Arena. Then, in a display that was borderline ruthless, he annihilated Japan's Yoshihito Nishioka, 6-0, 6-1, 6-4, on the same court. Now, as he gears up to face Portugal's Nuno Borges, he'll do so on the sport's biggest stage, scheduled for the second match of the day, no earlier than 2 p.m. local time. Oh, and fun fact, on the same court, Novak Djokovic will also strut his stuff later in the evening. Coincidence? I think not. Speaking of Borges, let's not sell the Portuguese underdog short. At 27 years old and ranked 33rd in the ATP, the Maya native is having a bit of a career glow-up. His most iconic win to date? Defeating Rafael Nadal on clay in Batad in 2024, a victory that shocked everyone, though it might have had more to do with Nadal's creaky knees than Borges's brilliance. Still, credit where it's due. Borges has been steady in Melbourne this year, and while he's yet to make waves like his Spanish opponent, he's got grit. This will be the second time the pair meet, with Alcaraz having dispatched him with ease in Barcelona last year, 6-3, 6-1. For Borges, this is his third time competing at the Australian Open. His first outing in 2023 ended unceremoniously in the first round against Italy's Lorenzo Sonego. He did better in 2024, powering through to the fourth round before falling to Daniil Medvedev. But hey, he even managed to steal a set from Medvedev, which isn't nothing. Back to Alcaraz, his ascent continues to ruffle some feathers. There's been a bit of side-eye from fellow players, particularly Germans like Alexander Zverev, who quipped that Alcaraz and Djokovic get what they want. Zverev, who prefers evening matches, admitted that the Mercian and the Serbian seem to wield more influence with tournament organizers. Whether that's true or just sour grapes, it's clear Alcaraz is living rent-free in some players' heads. The day's schedule at Rod Laver Arena is stacked. World number 1 Aryna Sabalenka will open proceedings against Denmark's Clara Tauson, followed by Alcaraz and Borges battling for a spot in the round of 16. Djokovic will then face Czech youngster Tomas Makak in the night session, before the court wraps up with a clash between Serbia's Olga Danilovic and the US ace Jessica Pegula. As for Alcaraz, it's all eyes on the central court now. The pressure's on, the lights are brighter, and the crowd's louder. But if his past performances are any indicator, the Mercian is ready to put on a show, and maybe silence a few critics while he's at it. Let's see if Borges can play spoiler or if Alcaraz is simply too damn good. One thing's for sure, the drama in Melbourne is far from over. Alexander Zverev, or as we're calling him today, Sassy Sasha, didn't hold back when he dropped some eyebrow-raising comments courtside after his latest match. When asked about his preference for match times, the German didn't miss a beat. "I'd rather play at night, with the roof closed. I really enjoy the atmosphere. It's just better after dark. Honestly, I hope this isn't my last night match here." Spoken like a guy who knows how to work the crowd under the lights. But then came the real zinger. Zverev, ranked second in the world and definitely not shy about calling it as he sees it, admitted that some players, cough Novak Djokovic and Carlos Alcaraz cough, seem to have a bit more sway when it comes to picking their match schedules. Novak's got more pull, probably Carlos too. Their requests go first, And then there's me, somewhere down the pecking order. Third, fourth, maybe fifth, who knows? I just take what's left. But hey, if there's a night slot, I'm happy to take it, he quipped with a laugh, clearly taking the whole thing in stride. Now, let's be real. It's a bit ironic that Zverev is out here poking fun at scheduling when he's already had both his matches slotted for prime-time nighttime drama. Meanwhile, guys like Djokovic and Alcaraz, the so-called privileged few, are busy bouncing around between time slots like it's musical chairs. The irony is thick enough to spread on toast. Speaking of Alcaraz, the guy isn't just making headlines for his tennis skills. His biceps are stealing the show too. And no, they're not just for flexing in post-match selfies. When asked about his impressive guns, Alcaraz joked, "I didn't bulk up to look big. It's all about being fast and agile. I can't overdo it." Sure, Carlos, we totally believe you didn't sneak a quick flex in front of the mirror this morning. Alcaraz's physical transformation has been the talk of Melbourne. With his revamped serve and those chef's kiss arms, he's a walking, talking highlight reel. His physical trainer, Alberto Lido, must be over the moon about the results. "My trainer's probably pretty happy with these biceps," Alcaraz quipped after obliterating Japan's Yoshihito Nishioka in the second round. Lido, who's been shaping the 21-year-old's physique like a sculptor with a block of marble, has been on Team Alcaraz full-time for the past year. This wasn't always the case. Back when Carlos was a scrawny teenager at the academy, Lido recalls him as a string bean with speed but no muscle. That changed in the 2021 preseason when Alcaraz and his team decided to bulk up. According to his fitness coach, the transformation has been about 80% hard work and maybe 20% genetics. "When we started, his body fat percentage was so low, it was almost a problem," Lido explained. "With the right supplements and new habits, we finally hit the sweet spot. Now, Alcaraz is not just a tennis prodigy, he's a physical specimen. He's built for speed, power, and endurance, a fact that hasn't gone unnoticed by his rivals. While he's busy perfecting his game and showing off his guns, Zverev's out there cracking jokes about the ATP's scheduling hierarchy. The Australian Open may be a battle of skill on the court, but off the court, it's all about the drama, and these guys are serving it up as expertly as they do their forehands. Buckle up, folks. Melbourne just got a whole lot spicier. Carlos Alcaraz has developed a bit of a pre-match ritual. And no, it's not about meditating under a waterfall or visualizing every forehand. The guy's go-to fuel is sushi. Yes, raw fish, and a strict gluten-free diet, all thanks to a deep dive into his health led by Juanjo Moreno, his physiotherapist and a self-proclaimed science nerd. About a year ago, Moreno ran some tests and discovered that gluten wasn't exactly Alcaraz's best friend. Since then, the Spaniard has been smashing balls and downing nigiri like there's no tomorrow. Who knew salmon sashimi could power you to world domination on the court? And let's not forget that iconic sleeveless Nike shirt that's been turning heads at the Australian Open and the US Open before that. Alcaraz's biceps are practically stealing the show under the blazing Australian sun. When asked about his Herculean physique, the kid shrugged it off, saying, "I'm not trying to bulk up just to look jacked. It's all about staying strong, fast, and agile." Sure, Carlos, but let's be honest, those arms are doing some serious flexing, whether you admit it or not. His secret weapon? The eccentric pulley system, which sounds more like a medieval torture device than a fitness tool. According to his coach Alberto Lido, this gadget is the holy grail for building muscle mass without sacrificing the speed and agility needed to dominate the court. Lido, who's basically the mad scientist behind Alcaraz's physical transformation, insists that this mix of strength and velocity is the key to keeping the young star light on his feet while packing a serious punch. Speaking of packing a punch, Alcaraz is gearing up for his third-round match at the Australian Open against Portugal's Nuno Borges. It's not just another game. It's his first time playing on the prestigious Rod Laver Arena this year, a well-deserved upgrade after breezing through his first two matches on the second-tier Margaret Court Arena. Playing on Rod Laver is like graduating from karaoke night at your local pub to headlining Coachella. It's a big freakin' deal. The match is set for the daytime session, kicking off at the ungodly hour of 4 a.m. Central European Time. If you're planning to watch, better set your alarm, or just stay up all night binging Netflix until it's go time. Alcaraz's match will be followed by none other than Novak Djokovic, who's practically made Rod Laver his second home this tournament. For the third consecutive time, the Serbian legend will play on the court, proving once again that he's the golden boy of Australian tennis. But it's not just Alcaraz and Djokovic bringing the heat. Paula Badosa, another Spanish star, is also in action, squaring off against Marta Kostyuk on the Kia Arena. Sure, it's not as glamorous as Rod Laver, but it's still a stage where drama can unfold. Her match is set for the second slot of the day, starting no earlier than 2:30 a.m. Central European Time. After her, Alejandro Davidovich Fokina will take on young Czech talent Jakub Mensik in a clash of styles that promises fireworks. Meanwhile, Roberto Carlos Baena is out there grinding on the John Cain Arena against American Tommy Paul. Scheduled for around 3 a.m. Central European Time, this match is a true test for Carlos, facing a red-hot opponent who's been lighting it up lately. For Spanish tennis fans, this Friday in Melbourne is shaping up to be a roller coaster of emotions. With 4 players representing the nation across various courts, it's a testament to the depth and adaptability of Spanish tennis. Whether it's the raw talent of Alcaraz, the fierce determination of Badosa, or the steady grit of Carlos, there's something for everyone. So, grab your coffee, stay up late, and get ready for some serious tennis action. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. At Tennis Extra, we're here to bring you the best content, from in-depth analyses to exclusive interviews. Join our community and dive into the drama, strategies, and stories that make tennis the sport we all love. Let's ride this wave together, because the Australian Open is just heating up, and so are we.